Howdy mates, how are we doing? Here's the third video I wanted to make for today while visiting the Indian Mound Reserve right next to the Massey's Creek, and we see these large slump blocks that have fallen off of the cliff face of pure Cedarville dolomite filled with all of those lichens. Whew, let's catch a breath. However though, that's not what I want to focus the video on. I actually want to talk about a tree that has practically been right in front of my face the entire time, but I just didn't show it right away. So without further ado, let's get into it, mates. Alright, so we're looking at this tree right here, this tiny little guy, who is literally growing right off of the rock itself. Okay? So we look at the little fruits right here, which are kind of hairy on the exterior and are kind of like the shape of a, it would almost remind you of the shape of a pea. So you may be thinking, which type of tree is this? Well, this is the Ulmus americana, also known as the American elm. And I have to tell you, these trees are actually harder to find. And some of you may know why. For those of you who don't, I can explain. So, back in the day, you figure in the early 1900s or so, the American elm was a highly recognized and ornamental native tree of Ohio. And what's neat about the tree itself, when it matures, it resembles the shape of a vase. So that's a good way to help distinguish what type of tree you're looking at. However though, something happens. So, due to the introduction of something called the elm bark beetle, kind of similar to that of the emerald ash borer, it was introduced to the United States and it targeted the American elm. So what would happen was the elm bark beetle would literally penetrate into the tree itself and basically block the flow between the phloem, which is what transports water up and down the tree, as well as the xylem. Or no, the phloem, excuse me. The phloem transports the nutrients and sugars up and down the tree. And then the xylem, which transports water up and down the tree, was also blocked. So you figure that makes up the vascular system of a tree. So due to that happening, with basically the elm bark beetle cutting off the path, it has caused several American elms throughout the United States to die as a result. And it's very unfortunate. But this occurrence that I'm talking about is also known as the Dutch Elm Disease, because I believe the elm bark beetle was from the Netherlands area. I'm going to clarify that by means of an article, because I don't quite remember where they came from. But usually nowadays, they really don't get much higher than 40 feet, because unfortunately the mature trees succumb much quicker. So in a way, it's quite of an honor to actually be able to see a young American elm, because you really don't get to see these that much anymore. But this is how they are distinguished. They're like these little seed pods, shaped almost like a pea. And usually they occur in clusters as well. So that's another good way how you can tell. But yeah, it's just very unfortunate that you really don't get to see these anymore. So I'm going to share an article regarding the American elm so you guys can read further about it if you so choose. And gosh dang, it's now sprinkling quite a bit. I need to get some cover soon. So alrighty, thought I would share that with you guys. Hope you learned something. about the American elm. It's a unique tree, and hopefully their population can get restored in due time. So alrighty, hope all of you enjoy your Sunday, and Dirty on a Journey is outwards. Take care, folks.